I'll call the meeting of the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. This hearing is a continuation of the February 6, 2025 hearing. Today's hearing date, time, and location were announced on the record on February 6, 2025. Therefore, a notice by publication, certified mail, and posting were not required for today's continuation. So at the last hearing, the testimony was all finished, so I will close that hearing portion of the meeting and we will move to the voting portion. I will say I was not here at the last meeting, but I did listen to the whole hearing, and so I'm well aware of the testimony and the evidence that was given. So we have some proposed conditions.
May we introduce the board first?
Oh, yes, thank you. I'll have the board members introduce themselves and the township in which they reside, starting on my left.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Mary Donner, Greenwood Township.
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond Township.
I'm Linnea Kustra in Alden Township.
Vicki Gartner, Nunda Township.
Bill Kernick, Grafton Township.
Jessica Beverly, Door Township.
So we have revised proposed conditions for petition number 2024-057. Now it is called Z25-0013. Staff offers the following conditions for consideration. Number 1, the conditional use shall expire 10 years from the date of approval by the McHenry County Board. Number 2, the conditional use shall substantially conform to the official site plan dated December 14, 2024. And number 3, all other federal, state, and local laws shall be met. Are there any other proposed conditions? At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the conditions.
I move acceptance of the conditions as proposed.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Mr. Eldridge, seconded by Ms. Gardner, to approve the conditions as presented. Is there any discussion? Then I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
Mr. Kernick?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. So the conditions are approved 7-0. At this time, I would entertain.
Madam Chairman, I move acceptance of the petition subject to the conditions.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Eldridge, second by Ms. Donner to approve this petition. Discussion, Mr. Eldridge. I'll give you my mic.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is a proposal to for conditional use to permit an Airbnb short-term rental on a vacant lot. Well, what was a vacant lot that, as a matter of right, has had a house recently built on it by petitioner's direction. It is on adjacent to the Fox River and has river frontage, and the road frontage is a small, I believe, township road with limited access. Until petitioner built the home, this parcel had been vacant for the past, as far as we are aware. It is in a residential area. The building of the home and use of the home as a home is not an issue of contention. That is a matter of right, and that clearly is appropriate in this location. The conditional use request is for short-term rentals, and I believe the standards have been met. When short-term rentals first appeared in the county, there were a number of serious objections that I thought were quite reasonable. Some people used it for unreasonable levels of partying, for uses and activities that were very disruptive to neighbors and the general area. Since then, just as a matter of good business, the apps that pretty much everybody uses to do their marketing for them and to do the get their customers has developed a set of rules. There are two major apps, both very similar. A set of rules that I think quite effectively deal with this issue because it's not in either the owner of these properties' interest, much less the neighborhood or the public's interest to have these abuses continue. I believe they have been quite effective and I believe that generally, unless you have a owner who is self-destructively abusive of it, that there's very little problem associated with these. We've seen certainly some complaints, but we see some complaints about everything everywhere. And I frankly would prefer if this owner were someone who had done this multiple times before because they are more practiced in it. This is a new entry into the field. But having said that, that shouldn't be a bar to getting into it if the site is appropriate. I believe as long as it is appropriately managed, that this is a perfectly good, as a matter of fact, it's an attractive site because it does have river frontage for a short-term or vacation rental. And for the foregoing reasons, I am going to support the petition.
Ms. Gardner.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree with Mr. Eldridge. Despite the fact that this petitioner has not been in this business before and experienced it, he's actually used this kind of service before, so he knows what would be expected. I feel comfortable in that. I also feel comfortable in the minimum of 3 days rental on this place, that there will be no more than 6 cars in the driveway at any one time. There's no swimming off the pier. There's a noise sensor, and that you're also advertising through Airbnb and Vrbo, and you will be abiding by those rules. So I'm very comfortable with this request. If you decide after a few years you don't want to do this and you sell this property, the conditional use does go with it. So that would have to be made clear. But all in all, I am in favor of this.
Mr. Cozen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. During the course of public testimony, questions was asked of how are such uses regulated in other locations, being in Algonquin Township specifically to Crystal Lake. That city has chosen to pursue a licensing requirement to which then very little is known or understood or commented by property owners in adjoining areas. McHenry County, much to its credit, uses a process of public engagement. And through that public engagement, it is expected that items of interest, of concern, are brought through the public record. In reliance on that public record and using such and applying such to Section 1620.040.e, I am in favor of this conditional use. Specifically, Emerald Drive is already platted and put to use as a recreational use. In fact, on the survey presented, this particular lot was created as far back as 1893. Further, this is a conditional use of a use that is permitted by a matter of right. The only distinguishable item that is brought forward in this use is how the property is being owned. Nothing is unique as to the bedrooms, nothing is unique to the kitchen, nothing is unique to the garage, the setting on the lot, complying with the building code, or its proximity to the Fox River, to which then a ownership interest does not seem to rise to the point of being prohibitory to granting this conditional use, and therefore I will be supporting it as presented. Thank you.
Mr. Schnabel's not here. Ms. Beverly?
Thank you. I'm also in support of this petition. I went back and listened to a bunch of the PED County Board hearings. This has come up multiple times for staff and various committees as to whether it should be regulated. The petitioners presented testimony that was above and beyond any other requirements that we could possibly put on this conditional use permit. It is consistent with VRBO and Airbnb, and it's my understanding that there are a lot of people who are doing this that have not bothered to get a conditional use permit in the first place. So the fact that the petitioners bothered to come in and go through this process is really indicative of what upstanding owners they will be. So I'm in support of this petition.
Ms. Donner?
I think Miss Beverly stole my thunder.
Yeah, you're on.
It's on.
Okay. Yes, I was, besides them being owners, they're going to be, it appears they are going to be owners forever, as we would all hope. Nobody in that neighborhood is expected to stay there forever. People age out and go other places and do other things, so we can never know exactly what our new neighbors are going to do. I haven't seen anything, especially considering the rules that you've self-imposed, are going to be anything but good neighbors. That's as close as I can get on my crystal ball. It's a little fuzzy, but we never know. So I am in favor of this petition.
Mr. Kernick?
I join in. Got it. I join in everything that my colleagues have said. I would only add that while this may be their first foray into the VRBO, the testimony that they've provided regarding the safeguards, the electronic monitoring, the age limitation on rental have alleviated the major concerns I've had regarding operations such as this. So I am also in favor.
And as I said, I read the transcript, and I understand the rules that they plan to put on this, including how many people can stay there and how many nights and that sort of thing, but we can't hold them to any of that. Our hearing today is just for the zoning, allowing the conditional use. What they do with this, what rules they put on it, is nothing that we can control or enforce. That being said, the fact that you had so many people here that were opposed to you, and I know that I could tell from your testimony that you really want this to be good. I think the more rules that you impose, I looked at some other Airbnbs that are along the Fox River in that area, and they all have no parties on them, you know, and I think that that's really a good thing for you to impose. But as far as this hearing, we are just looking at zoning and the conditional use request, and I think that they have met the standards for the conditional use request, and I agree with my colleagues in their testimony regarding that fact, so I will be in favor of this petition as well. So I will call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gartner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
Mr. Kernick?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. So this will go to the county board with a 7-0 vote approving this. At this time, the hearing is closed.